What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Games Talk Live. I hope you all had a happy holidays. I had an amazing one myself. Well, amazing holidays because we had two, and that's the reason why I wasn't on the last two Sundays. Forte, I've had, the holidays landed on my show day, and I was like, "There's no way I'm going to be dealing with my family
Both
and then
of
coming
them.
on." Yeah. So, of course, everybody, we have the great Gaming Forte in the house. Thank you very much for joining me today. We were supposed to have you a few weeks ago, but you had to cancel because the holidays and you got slammed at work. So,
Yeah, man, it was pretty bad. It's like, I want to say customer wise, it probably wasn't the worst holiday, but dealing with just associates and call offs and stuff wasn't horrible. But when you're running two stores, you kind of have to, pick up the slack.
yeah.
And I'm not the type of person to complain. So I'm just going to pick up the slack. And yeah, I was supposed to be here. I think it was like 2-3 weeks ago. And
Yeah.
I was like, it was like literally last second. I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, bro. But yeah, I'm glad to be here now because this is like one of my favorite shows to do, man, because it's very unique. Man. It's very unique. And ain't nobody doing nothing like this.
I really appreciate you. That. And of course, I would like to thank everybody out there who has been, supporting the channel and just coming by and viewing this channel as well. Just, anytime they get and they listen on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, any of those streaming platforms out there. Thank you very much for listening. I appreciate you. And got some new looks going on here today. My camera, I've got a couple of cameras that'll switch here and there. You'll see some new looks to the show. Some interesting behind the scenes stuff because you'll see my whole setup in a minute here. See, you see it right there. So now you can see what I'm working with. I've got my Stream Deck on this side, and so I'm trying to produce this whole show and do different things and just I don't know, make it more interesting.
Box, man. I like that soft box.
I've got a key light here. I've got a little soft light there, and just trying to do my thing.
What camera is that?
That is a Panasonic. It's an older 4K camera. It's a Panasonic Lumix FZ1000. It's not quite a DSLR, but it's got a fixed lens. It's basically a DSLR with a fixed lens. So it's
okay. I was going to ask if it was interchangeable, but you look good, man.
It's decent. It's got a Leica lens. It's really a nice little camera. It's better than a webcam. Put it that way.
You look better than 90% of people on YouTube.
But your camera, I really like. I like what you're working with there. And already I've got Brigadier's Blue with a super chat here, and I appreciate you very much, Brigadiers. Every week, without fail, Forte, he comes through with the super chat and always tells me to have a good show or whatever. And again, today, he says, yo, I can't stay and watch live as usual, but I'm looking forward to the replay tomorrow at the gym. Fonz and Forte together always equals a good time. I appreciate you, man. Appreciate that. No, let's talk about you right now. You haven't been on the show for quite some time now. It's been a couple of months at least since I've had you on the show.
It's been since like the beginning of fall, end of summer. Yeah.
So what have you been up to lately? Gaming wise, we talked a little bit behind the scenes, but let's go ahead and tell everybody what you've been playing lately and what you can't seem to get into.
Oh man. So I talked about that on DPS too. So I've been playing, I was a huge fan of Callisto Protocol when I first got a chance to see it. I have it, but it's been a slog for me going through that game. I don't know if it's the melee combat that I'm not really into. I think I just had a misinterpretation of what I thought it was going to be about because you see Dead Space, like, oh my God, you get to play with weapons and stuff again, but it's really different from that. And I'm not going to hate the game for that. I'm actually going to finish it, but it's like a slow grind with that game because I'm not really into the melee combat like that. But the game that I bought a PlayStation 5 for, God of War Ragnarok, I had since day one, and I'm like 17 hours in, and I feel like I'm not progressing in this game as much as I should be, mostly due to the fact that I think the beginning parts of it are very much a drag. And I did. You mentioned that in the earlier part, just in our just talking earlier, and that kind of is pretty much what it is. And I did hear from a lot of people that it does get a lot better once you get past that 12, 14, 15-hour point. But that it's like the age-old thing that I have about games, though. If I have to play your game for 5-10 hours just to get to the part where it's very interesting, then what are we really doing here? So
facts, that part, right? So what I told him at the, behind the scenes when he mentioned this about him having a hard time getting into God of War, the latest one, unlike the first one, I guess probably captured you right away because it was a different look to the series. The franchise was a whole new franchise. So you're looking at the God of War, on a brand new, basically, palette. It's just, everything is new. And also there was so much combat at the beginning of the 2018 game. This one, however, seemed to be very slow, the pacing in it. I was complaining that there wasn't much combat at the beginning, and that's what we were talking about. It didn't start to ramp up until about 10, 11 hours. And by that point, you've already got that much time invested where you're just like, come on, just get with it. And I think that's a problem that a lot of us seem to have had after all these stellar reviews have come out and everybody's been praising it. And you're just wondering, am I the only one? But I've talked to several people like yourself who feels the same way I do. And it's not an Xbox versus PlayStation thing. This is just strictly from a gamer's perspective. I've heard this.
Well, no, and like I said, it's the reason I bought a PlayStation 5. And it's not that I hate the game. It's just that when people ask me, like, hey, how did you enjoy God of War? I just have to, like, literally tell the truth. It's like, I tell people all the time, was like, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just, I think it's also a fact of the game coming out in November with the type of job that I have. That's the busiest time for me. So finding time to get into certain games and putting hours into it is kind of a struggle sometimes. Yeah. But I also remember when God of War 2018 came out, I would come home from work. It took me 3 weeks to beat that game. I would come home from work and maybe I would play anywhere from 2 up to 4 hours every day. I think I took a week off just because I was burnt out on gaming for a while. But I would literally go home and be up to 3 o'clock in the morning. If I was off work the next day, I would literally play till like 6 o'clock in the morning, get as much in as I possibly can. And I haven't been able to do that. It honestly, it's just been like, I'll look at my PlayStation like, I hate you right now. Mm-hmm. And then I just walk away from it.
I think what it comes down to, Forte, is like nowadays I've seemed to get into more of this mindset where these games need to respect my time. And this is not to say that games can't be long and great long experiences, but if a game isn't respecting your time and it's just drawn out just for the sake of being drawn out, then I'm not with it. Like that's not what I want. I want to be compelled to play your game, no matter the length. But there has to be something compelling there for me to want to come back to each time I pick up that controller. I want to jump in and really just, sink my teeth into it, so to speak. I don't want, I want it to respect my time. And I think as you get older, you probably feel that way too. It's just,
well, I think just because we can move on from it, I just think one thing I was just thinking about while you saying, but respecting my time, I think the first one, 2018, did a really good job of having its set pieces or its points of interest of things that happened that really draw you into the game. They happen so much closer together. So you play for 2 hours, some big part happens, you'd be like, I want to keep playing, but I got to go to sleep. So you're instantly saying, I'm going to come back and play some more tomorrow. Compared to this one, you'll go 7 hours and nothing of things are happening. And then it's like 6 puzzles in the middle of that. And you're like, oh my God, I'm tired of puzzles right now.
Yeah.
So I think that's part of it too.
We'll stop the God of War slander. First, I want to pick up.
It's still a good game so far, though.
I want to pick up a super chat here from my good buddy, Mr. Randall Thor 19, and I think I have his.
The man with the million.
Right there. The man with the million himself has dropped a 20. I appreciate you so much, Rand. You're an awesome friend. He says, can I just say that I love both Fonz and Forte? That's lies. He loves you. He doesn't love me. He rarely ever comes around. You know, and when he sees me in his chat, he always avoids me. And, you know, no, I'm just kidding. Now, I love Rand. Rand's a great guy, man.
He called me the other day, was like, so I'm calling you because you say you called me. And I said, yeah, I called you months ago. And you're finally calling me back. And then we literally had like an hour and 50-minute conversation just talking about everything that's going on with gaming, stuff that we're going to talk about today with the Xbox event. And we could have literally had a podcast talking about all that stuff because it was like such a genuine conversation. And I think that's the one thing that people don't understand. Behind the scenes, outside of these podcasts, we're just like everybody else. We just want to talk games and just have fun. And talking to you guys is just easy because you guys know what you're talking about. It is good to have that discourse with all of you guys.
I see various faces in the chat. I've got Hustle and Motivate. What's up? It's good to see you, brother. Boba Fett Gaming, Jigga J. By the way, Jigga J says the Patriots still suck.
They do suck. They lost today. They're out of the playoffs. So yes, they absolutely suck.
My Niners don't suck. So yeah.
Well, guess what? I told one of my friends today. She's a Buffalo Bills fan, and you know, speaking of which, I'm so happy that Damar Hamlin is doing so good because seeing that happen on the field was horrendous, and I'm happy he was able to tweet out and say it's go time. So I'm happy that he's doing better, but I am rooting for your 49ers now.
Wow.
Because I'm a huge Jimmy Garoppolo fan. I love Jimmy G. He used to be a Patriot.
You guys can have him. You guys can have him back.
No, well, listen, y'all lucked up and got Mr. Irrelevant that actually can play really well.
He's doing well. Good. He's doing well. And I'm happy with him.
I'm rooting for you guys.
But let's stop the football talk, or people are going to claim we're stealing from the ILP, the Iron Lords themselves, because they like to talk sports. Sometimes they talk sports and stuff at the beginning. Anyways,
at the time of football coming
the combat sports is usually what they do. Oh,
yes. There you go.
There it is. Anyways, so it's good to have you back on the DPS podcast with you and Slow-Mo Backslap Thursday still, right? Every Thursday night.
Yeah.
How's that going? How's that going, man? DPS podcast.
Good, man. So we just did wrapped up episode 115. This past Thursday was on my channel. It's on his channel next week. Got a lot of stuff that we have in the works for 2023. I want to change the layout a little bit, update some stuff, and bring some more stuff to our membership tiers when it comes to just supporting people. But yeah, it's been fun. I mean, first of all, when you're doing a podcast with one of your best friends, it's not hard. It's not even a job. I look forward to that every week. And when we took the last week off, I was like, man, Slow-Mo, we need to play games because I don't get a chance to talk to you as much as I usually talk to you because we don't do the podcast every week. So it's been good. It's been growing, and we definitely just need to keep moving along. And before you know it, we'll be at 150 and 200, and I can see this going as long as we can go with it.
Yeah. No, I definitely, you guys do a great job together. Again, I've always stated that you guys have good chemistry there, both of you, and you can tell you're really good friends. And unfortunately, I have no good friends to do a podcast with. That's why I'm solo all the time on Games Talk Live. And I just have to have friends come to the show to, be a guest, or so-called friends, because they pretend to be my friend here.
I love how you zoomed in on your face when you did that.
No. But no, we are truly friends here. Danny Passion Official, thank you very much for being in the chat. I see you, brother. He says, let's go. Boba Fett Gaming says he'd like to see a Cincy 49ers Super Bowl, and I would like to see that as well.
No, I can't root for anything in Ohio.
Ohio. Yeah.
Well,
what's up with all the jokes and memes about Ohio, by the way?
It's Ohio.
It's Ohio. I've never been there, so.
Ohio.
Yeah, never been there. Oh, I like how he emphasized high in Ohio.
Yeah, Ohio, like bye. I can't get through you fast enough as I drive through you.
It's actually Obio, not Ohio. So it's Obio.
That's a good one too.
All right. So let's go ahead and let's get into our first topic here. Let's go ahead and talk about okay, so we've seen Xbox push games on the Gaming Awards show every year.
Yes.
In consoles sometimes as well. They released, or they announced the Series X on that show. But this year, in 2022, they did not do that, sir. And we all thought that was a misstep, but it's because we heard a little bit after that, you know, Aaron Greenberg took to Twitter, hey, there's something coming up soon, you know, and people speculate it's a show. And now even more rumors have grown saying, yes, there's a show coming end of this month here in January 2023. We're going to get an Xbox event. Have you heard anything on this? And what do you think they'll show on this event? What do you think they'll show?
What they show and what they should show are two different things, because I don't think they're going to do what I really want them to do. I think with 2022 behind us, and I understand that E3 is in 6 months, and I understand people would say, well, we could see a lot of the stuff at E3. I really want them to show stuff. I don't really need to know more about Starfield. I really don't need to know more about Redfall. I know those games are coming at the beginning. Hopefully, they're coming at the beginning of this year, and we got leaks of information for a couple of those games anyway. So hopefully, they go out and they show us stuff that we know is coming, but we just don't know when. We didn't get anything for Hellblade. Usually that's shown at the Game Awards. I definitely feel like you should be showing that here. I feel like the reason you didn't show it there is because you knew you were having this show. You wanted to have that as a showcase piece for this show. So I feel like you should be showing us something around that, and not just another cutscene or another cinematic. I need to see actual gameplay for the actual combat of the game, because that's the thing that most people care about the most. We already know the game's going to be stellar. We already know the voice acting and the mocap's going to be amazing. I didn't know what the combat's going to look like. That's really all I need from that game. Outside of that, it's going to be stuff like what's going on with games like Contraband, what's going on with games like State of Decay. It's been 5 years since they showed State of Decay 3 in 2018. Even if the game's not ready to come out in the next year and a half, we should still at least have some type of picture of what these games are going to look like. I think those are the things that I want to see. I don't want to know what the next 6 months is. I want to know what the next year. What are we going to have at the end of this year? What is the Valve going to be? What is 2024 at the beginning going to look? You know why? Because the biggest thing for me is Microsoft's in this situation where they're telling their fans, and and this is also through proxy of the regulators too, that Xbox isn't anything. We're basically a peon when it comes to video games. And we all know that's not the truth, because they have all this money wrapped up in all these different projects that they just don't want to show. I feel like you are at a situation now where you just sold a mountain of systems to people over the course of the last 3 months during the holidays. And it's not just us that need to know this stuff. You need to start showcasing why other people want to enjoy the games that's coming to Xbox, and why they want to jump into this amazing service you call Game Pass, because that's what you've been supporting. That's what you've been pushing, and I love it. But I need to know what first party is bringing to the table, not just this year. Well, next year too.
I think we need to keep realistic expectations in check.
That should be realistic.
Here's the thing. Well, here's the thing. Are they going to try to outdo their E3 show at this event? No, I don't think they should do that.
No, they shouldn't. They're not going to do that.
I think this will focus on the games that have already been announced. But there is so much there that they could show, Forte. There is still so much that you've mentioned that they could really showcase. Hellblade 2, some really serious good gameplay. Not just her throwing a spear or running to a beach, actual gameplay. Show some of that combat they've been really working on. Avowed. Show us a gameplay from Avowed. Get us excited for that. Although many of us are already excited because, again, this is an RPG from Obsidian, and we all know Obsidian makes great RPGs. So this game is pretty much a shoo-in to be a great game. I'm sorry, but I'm already going to say that this game is going to be great because it's Obsidian. Sorry, it's just my opinion.
They have a track
quality
record.
But I want to see the gameplay. I want to see the proof. And I think many other people do as well. There's so much there that they can actually show, or at least talk about, that they've already mentioned in the last year. So they can show us more about Starfield as well. You know, we all want to see more of that game as well. That's coming out soon. Redfall's another one they can showcase. There's a lot to come that they've already mentioned for the first 12 months or whatever since the last E3.
I don't think they have, like I said, the biggest thing is I don't think they have to like show us something brand new. I don't think they have to do that at this show. They can save that for E3.
Which, by the way, I'm glad you mentioned that, because real quick, Jeff Grubb has been on record saying that there is a brand new game they may be showcasing at this event.
That would be great if they do.
That is basically on the Pentiment scale level. So it's nothing huge. It's more of like a little passion project, dare I say. But it's going to be a rhythm-based brawler. And that game, you know, who knows if it's something for you, but it's something new.
It's nothing wrong with a game like Pentiment or anything like that to be shown or come out when you have substantial other content that comes out alongside it. The biggest thing that people wanted to argue about when we had this conversation on DPS the other day was, well, Sony went 7 months, 8 months. It didn't show anything. It didn't have a first party game come out. And I was like, well, let's be for real. It's not fair out here. We all know, you know, it's not fair. We know that PlayStation did release a bunch of games at the launch of the PS5. And I think Ratchet & Clank was the last one they released that year. And they went on like a 7-month hiatus. And people didn't complain about it like they thought they should have. But it was because they actually got those games. And then fast forward to where we are now. We don't know what PlayStation has on the docket from November when God of War came out to the future.
No.
But the thing is, nobody's really complaining about it because guess what? You just got God of War. You just got a really good game.
We've seen, like, okay, so at the little event that they had, or that Sony was there at for the PlayStation VR 2 and everything, they kind of had this slide that they showed what they're excited
VR,
about for their game. Well, not just their VR, but the games that they were showcasing with for this year for their PlayStation 5 platform. Number one was Spider-Man 2, which is coming out the end of the year. So we're you know, a lot of people are excited for it. I understand. It's Spider-Man. It's a big franchise. But aside from that, first party wise, they really have nothing, Forte. Because the other two games that was mentioned was Hogwarts Legacy and Final Fantasy 16, which we know Final Fantasy 16 might as well be a all-time exclusive, because who knows when or if that will ever come to Xbox. We still haven't got Final Fantasy 7 Remake on Xbox. So
we ain't getting that.
Yeah, so we probably won't ever get 16. But Hogwarts Legacy is coming out day and date as well for Xbox. Although there is content being held back for a year that's exclusive to the PlayStation 5, which I find just bad. It's terrible. I hate that.
It's always terrible.
Yeah, with whoever does it, I think it's a terrible look when you hold content back for a specific platform for any length of time. It's just not a good look. But Hogwarts Legacy, a lot of people are excited about that one as well. But again, it's not first party. So you're saying they don't need it, but I think that if Microsoft does deliver on first party games this year, and I'm talking at least 3-4 games, and they're really good, and they're critically at least acclaimed to some degree, they're not 69 metas, let's just say. I think that there's going to be a lot of people out there kind of upset with Sony and being like, oh, okay, what about us now? We got to wait for Spider-Man and that's it, you know.
And I'm
not including the third-party games that are going into Game Pass day one.
You're right,
because there's a lot of those, Forte.
There's a lot of those.
Let's talk about
first party for us.
Because you know, another thing they could show at this event is Forza Motorsport. We have not seen anything about Motorsport.
They need to show it,
and they need to show
it's coming out by June.
And I'm sure they'll show more on, you know, what is that game? Atomic Heart. Atomic Heart is something that's coming in Game Pass day one. That's coming soon. Wolong, Fallen Dynasty. Liza P is another one that they showed last year that is coming into Game Pass.
It is.
Xbox. I'm sorry, people. Say what you will. I'm not shilling it all. I'm just telling it like it is. there is a lot of good, solid games going into Game Pass this year. Finally, like after a year where it just felt like nothing for me, and I'm speaking for me because a lot of people love some of these indies and stuff that have dropped into Game Pass, and that's great. And I like some indies too. What was it? I played one last year. I played it twice. I can't even remember the name. It eludes me right now, but I liked it a lot. But it's still not what I want from Game Pass. I want more AAAs in there. I need at least one every month. I need that. Like, you know, a decent sized game in there.
And that was kind of the promise that people signed up for. And I think that's kind of the thing that's missing right now.
I'm sorry. What they said was one every quarter. First.
One of them, yeah. I knew what you meant. Yeah, one every that was the goal. One every quarter for a year. And you're right. If they would have released those games, I feel like if they would have came up with Starfield and Redfall last year, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
Oh, for sure. And Hargeet, you're 100% right. It's As Dusk Falls that I played that I really liked. I played twice.
I actually liked that game.
Yeah, it was really good.
I would.
Dude, that was honestly the one game I did not even look forward to, and I played it, and I was like, holy crap, this story's good. Let me play it again. It changes. Oh, okay.
Yep, stop motion graphics.
Hargeet. Thank you very much, Hargeet, with the $5 super chat here. I appreciate you, man. He says, I wouldn't count PlayStation out for the year. They've been pretty silent. No, I'm not counting them out either. No, I'm really not. I'm saying, but if that's all they have to drop by a first party, I think, you know, they need more. They do need more than that. They've been pretty silent, but will likely have a showcase soon, dropping some exclusives. Yeah, I could see that happening. For sure. For sure. And I hope it happens. I want to see that happen. I want both of these companies to go out at each other's throats, man. That's what I want here. That's why I love that whole ABK thing. You know, them Microsoft going after them. I don't like the FTC thing and all that stuff. And I don't like to talk on that stuff. It's boring to me. But I like the fact that they're trying to get some momentum going with some games. And if they have to buy them, buy them. But I want to see competition finally. And I think this is pushing, because we're going to talk about this later. A new IP coming from Sony that has been leaked, and I've got a little bit of alpha footage out there that we're going to show here and talk about maybe what they're trying to do with this game. Maybe it combats Starfield. Who knows? Who knows what they're trying to do? But we're going to talk about that a little bit later. Again, now, like I said, realistic expectations in check. If there's one thing, one game that they could show at this event, what would you like them to show?
One game.
One game.
One game if they showed at this show that I would want. Okay. Expectations in check, because the one I really want to see is Fable. I definitely want to see, but I just don't think they're going to be, they're not ready to show it. I really want to see, how long have they been working on this Indiana Jones game at this point? Machine Games. They got announced in what, 2020?
So I think they've been working on it at least 3 years, right?
3 years. I think.
I'm not sure. Don't quote me.
Yeah, I think it's been about. I know they announced it in 2020 that they had the partnership, and it's been 2 years since then. I'm not saying they got to go out and show like a whole bunch of like gameplay for it. I just want to see what it looks like. And I think it's about that time they can do it. And the thing that really made me want to be interested in it was the fact that I went to go see the Avatar movie, and I saw the trailer for the new Indiana Jones movie, and I was like, it hit me. I was like, oh man, I really can't wait to see what Xbox is doing with Machine Games with that Indiana Jones game.
Again, though, I'm saying keep realistic expectations in check, because this show, I agree with this gentleman here, Rob Dedon. Thank you for the super chat. He says, you guys need to understand the showcase is going to focus 90% on what's to come in the first half. So no Fable, no Perfect Dark, etc. Yeah. I agree with that. I don't think that's happening. But
no, that's what I want.
That's why for me, if that's what you want, that's what you want. I don't think you're going to get Indiana Jones level.
I know I'm not. I'm going to get that at E3
showcase.
Hopefully.
E3, I hope they show something like that. But here, again, I think they're going to focus on what they've already announced, and I really want to see more of something like Hellblade 2, even, because we've heard Hellblade 2 may come at the end of the year. So, show it if it is. Show something.
So I'll tell you what my reasoning is for how start I am on this. And you're right. I'll be happy with all that stuff. They just show just that. I just feel like after the dog crap year we just went through, they owe us something big that they just haven't talked about yet, or something that they wanted to show off at E3, but just give us a sneak peek of what it looks like.
And that's where you're going to get that new brawler game that I talked about earlier from Tango Gameworks, Hi-Fi Rush. That's what you're going to get.
Can we get something from one of the actual AAA studios?
I don't know. I don't know.
Not your acquired Japanese studio that.
Yeah, you don't really want Hi-Fi Rush, huh? You're not really a fan.
It's not at the top of the list. I'll take Contraband at this point. Contraband would be something good.
Okay, but let's go into something. How about this? Let me help you out here.
Okay,
Redfall. What about Redfall? Show us more on Redfall. Let's kind of deviate a little bit to a new topic to transition into Redfall. Okay, there's some news now that we're hearing that Redfall is not a game it's not the game that a lot of people thought it was. A lot of people out there, even I myself, have likened it to Left 4 Dead or Back 4 Blood, and the developers, Arcane, are like, no, that's not what the game is about at all. And dang it, I didn't have the quote set up. I'm sorry. I usually pull up quotes on the screen. I wasn't able to do that today. But he says this. He says this. I got the quote here. I just can't pull it up for you guys. He says, it's totally understandable for somebody to come to that conclusion. There are 4 playable characters. You can play together cooperatively, and you're going against the undead. Now, this is from Ricardo Bear, a creative director at Arcane Studios. He says, but in terms of the way you play and experience Redfall, this is not like those games at all. At all. He says Redfall is more like loading into Far Cry. And here's my thing. So that already, for me, puts it up on another level.
You love Far Cry.
Because, no, here's the thing. I love open world games. I love open world adventure games and stuff. Now, this is a first person shooter. Well, so is Far Cry. I enjoy Far Cry. If they can nail this, I think it could be a big hit for them. And I think that there was some details that they talked about in this game too. I don't know if you read the article or heard about the details.
Yeah.
So basically, here's another quote he said. It's a big ass open world. That was a direct quote. It's a big ass open world. And he also talked about how you'll be on foot in the game. There's no vehicles to drive around, but they did this purposely because they wanted to slow the pacing of the game down. This is kind of a horror game as well. So think about this. And he even painted the picture like you could be out in a cornfield or something and you're walking through it and you hear whispering vampires all around you before they attack or whatever, or cultists in the distance. And, you get spooked, and I like that. I'm sorry, but that appeals to me way more than, a Left 4 Dead or Back 4 Blood with hordes of enemies. You're not mowing down hordes of enemies. That's another thing he talked about. So you'll be able to just, you'll be coming across vampires, cultists, and stuff that are smart, good AI, attacking you strategically. This is not just hordes of enemies to mow down. I like that much better. What say you, man?
No, this is one of the games that they announced at the showcase that I was really interested in the most because of the co-op aspect of it. Being in a group of friends makes every game better, but then I just like the aesthetic of the game too. But when I first saw the Far Cry thing, I was like, okay, as long as we're not vomiting exclamation points and question marks across a map, I'm good. Because the one thing about Far Cry,
so you didn't want the Ubisoft tropes, you didn't want all that.
No, that's the only thing I don't want. Because the thing about Far Cry is great. Like all the Far Cries are really good, in my opinion, until you get to that part where you're out in the open world, and then it's like they vomit all of that stuff on the screen. And then you can still go up the beaten path, but I'm one of those people, if I see a exclamation point or a check mark, I have to go do it. It's just I can't process and not do it because I just like to clear areas and stuff. So that's why I kind of avoid that stuff when I see it. So when I saw that, I was like, okay, I'm willing to still get this game a try because I really like the aesthetic. I don't too much like the overall way that Far Cry has portrayed itself a little bit, but the games are fun. That's the one thing you can't take away from Far Cry games is if you're willing to play them, they're good. And I'm looking forward to what they're doing on this. And I really like the abilities and the special weapons and stuff and how you can play off each other in the game. So I think those all lend itself well. And if they can find a way to just, and I like the word about pacing because pacing has always been an issue in open world games. Only a few of them do it well. And if they can knock that out of the park, I think a lot of people are going to enjoy this game, and it's going to have basically the whole spring to itself.
Yeah,
I think.
I like a lot of things that you said there, and I think Boba Fett, he talks about one in there that does happen sometimes with some of these Far Cry type games. He says he loses interest late in the game on Far Cries, and I think one of the reasons why a lot of people do, and I have lost interest in some open world games before because if you tend to try to do a lot of side missions before you complete the main missions, sometimes if those side missions just aren't hitting, it becomes a chore, and it becomes like daunting. You're like, do I really want to do all this? Do I really want to finish the game? That's why with a game like Far Cry, I try not to get in that mindset where I've got to do every question mark out there. The only one I've ever done that in, for Far Cry anyway, is Far Cry 3. Far Cry 3, I did everything on that map. Every race, every question mark, I did everything because it was such an enjoyable game.
This is by far one of the best ones.
But take a case in point, Far Cry 6, I did not. I did not do everything on that map. I did a lot, but I just, I didn't care to do everything. It wasn't all that great, but it was a fun experience. And if Redfall gives me a fun open world experience in that vein where I can go out by myself, mind you, it doesn't have to be a 4-player co-op thing. I can do it by myself. I am happy with that. That speaks to me more than the game initially did. I thought this was going to be more of a focus of a Left 4 Dead type game. So
yeah, well, and I think it is honestly, I think them coming out and saying that is probably the best thing they could have did because I think they kind of flipped everybody's expectation of what they thought the game was going to be because when the developer comes out and said it, you're like, oh, okay, well, this is definitely what this game's going to be like. And it does set itself really well for people to like actually experience it at this showcase because I do think they're going to show raw gameplay, most likely in a 4-player setting. Please don't have stupid call outs in the video because I just want to see the gameplay. I hate when games do that voiceover and talking and stuff like that. Just show me the game and show me how great the co-op can be when you're playing with other people.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. And of course, I would jump in with friends. I would play with, you or some other friends as well, play the game a little bit. But one thing I really don't like about a game like this where they have an option for co-op is usually, and I hope this may be the case because it's this way with pretty much every cooperative game, the host is the only one that gets credit for doing.
Oh, please don't do that again.
The missions and stuff. And I hate that. I do.
That's true.
I hate when that happens. Chat, you guys, don't you hate when you jump into a game with somebody and you don't get credit for, the missions that you beat and everything with your friend? It's not fun when that happens. Like I want to get the achievements too. If you're getting them, like, cause I played so many games where, I'm playing with somebody and, we beat something and it's really hard and we're like, yes. And then I go back the next day and I notice I still have to beat it. And I was like, what? And that sucks. That sucks. So hopefully it's not that way. Hopefully it's not that way. But Redfall is looking much better, or sounding much better, I should say. I want to see more of it now. I really do. I'm interested to see more now that I've heard more details.
If you had to guess on the release date, what do you think? April, May, March?
Well, they've already stated. Well, there's rumors swirling that it could be pushed to May. Yeah. And so I'm going to take heed to that and say that May. I'm going to say May. And I'm going to say something, double down here on what I've said on RDX weeks ago before we heard anything about Starfield dropping in June, possibly. And I said June. It's going to drop in June. I'm sticking to June because that's the latest possible release date to fit in that 12-month window, right? If it goes beyond June, then they lied, or or not lied.
I thought that was the most dumbest thing in the world to put a date on the showcase.
Yeah. But I'm saying it'll be out by the end of June. Starfield, we'll get Redfall by May. Hopefully, we've got a lot of play before that. In February, we've got a ton of games to play. Geez. Like, what are you looking most forward to next year? Like,
or this year?
Games, or this year? Yeah.
Oh, wow. It comes out in 3. It comes out in 3 weeks.
I can't even.
Dead Space remake.
It's a Dead Space remake. That's your most anticipated game of the year.
Oh no, my most anticipated game is Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild 2. I am a huge Zelda fan. It's a reason I own a Switch.
All right. Yeah, Forte can't be with us the rest of the show, guys. I'm looking for another partner for the rest of the show. Let me know. Yeah, we can't do this. I'm sorry. No,
hey,
he's back. He's back.
Listen, man.
Look, I'm not going to slander Nintendo or Breath of the Wild.
It's already one game of the year.
It's a huge game that that's the one game that I'll say gives Starfield the run for its money, for sure, because it's Zelda. Zelda is tried and true.
Zelda wins game of the year this year.
Yeah.
Without even playing it.
Yeah.
That's just me poking at you. But no, I can
see that. I could definitely see that happening.
Those are my top 3 though. Starfield is 3rd. Dead Space, because I'm a huge Dead Space fan. That's number 2. And then Breath of the Wild. I put well over 200 and something hours on the first one, so I can't wait for the new one to come out.
Breath of the Wild, yeah.
So good, man.
For me, it's definitely my number 1 is Starfield this year. Starfield takes top honors there, and Breath of the Wild is not in my top 10. It's not even in the same stratosphere.
You even own a Switch?
Yes, I do.
Oh, you do?
We have 2 in the home. We have 2. And
are any of them yours?
Yes, I have a Switch. My son has a Switch, and I don't play.
Why do you have a Switch? Oh, okay, you don't play it. Okay,
because initially I buy all the consoles regardless. Like, and I thought, yeah, I'll end up playing it. I thought the Switch was going to be better than it was. It's not it. It's my son. Okay, for instance, my son played the newest Pokemon. And he told me, he goes, this is a great game. It's probably one of the best Pokemons he's ever played. But he said it runs like trash.
Oh, it is. It's horrible.
And so now he's been on the Steam Deck. I got him a Steam Deck. And he's been modding that. And yeah, his Switch games run best there. So
they do. You're right. Let's not talk about that.
Yeah, let's not get into that. I didn't say that. But
you didn't say that out loud.
But no. I'm enjoying, the rest of these consoles anyway, the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox. But I feel like even though it's been 2 years into this generation, that it really hasn't got off the ground yet, man. I feel like we're still behind.
We are still behind. Very behind.
We know that COVID really pushed things, right? It really pushed us behind. So, but now I think that we're starting to see games that are actually next gen come out. Hogwarts Legacy, though. Hogwarts Legacy is a game that a lot of people are excited for. I myself am not excited, but I will say if it's a good game, if it's a good solid game, because it's open world, I may be interested in it. I don't know. I'll see what the reviews are like and what my friends are saying about it before I dive into something like that. But I'm not a fan of Harry Potter. I find the movies boring. I've never read the books. I don't care for Harry Potter, but I understand the appeal. I get the appeal. It's very exciting for a lot of people, and it does look decent. But again, this is a cross-generational game. It's coming out on the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One as well. So we're still dealing with that today in 2023, where 2 years into the life cycle of this console, we're still putting games out on last-gen systems. I hope that stops soon, Forte.
Well,
needs to.
You know what happens whenever you got to wait for Madden, Call of Duty, and NBA. When they decide that next generation starts, that's when they'll move and only be next gen. As of right now, though,
I see it.
they need all that money.
Yeah, let's go ahead and switch topics. Let's go ahead and talk about PlayStation 5. Let's go ahead and get into more PlayStation 5 news. And of course, as you saw in the thumbnail, yeah, it's a little extreme. There's not consoles burning out there. But there is a chance, folks, that if you do have a PlayStation 5 and have it vertically standing up in the vertical position, that it could damage your console. And basically what they're saying is this liquid metal that's on the APU, between the APU and the
heatsink.
The heatsink. Basically, what this can do if it's standing vertical, it could leak through the seal there, and it could get on the motherboard and just ruin your day, ruin your year, ruin your console for sure. And apparently, this is coming from a guy named The Coder, who is a YouTuber and somebody who owns his own repair shop, console repair shop, and he's seen numerous consoles come in, PlayStation 5s, with this very problem. And he's documented this stuff and basically broke the news to the world. And he's got a lot of hate for it. A lot of people are coming out, as you can imagine, you know, all the fanboys and stuff upset over this. But I view it like this. It doesn't need to be a widespread issue for it to be something that I want to know about personally as a consumer.
Right.
Because when you look at these pictures here on your screen, yeah. So basically that is the liquid metal leaking as it's vertical here. You can see on the left here, or on the left, where it's in that vertical position, and you could see it kind of leaking onto the motherboard, and that is not good. Have you heard anybody go through something similar, or is this the first you've heard of it? Because this is the first I've heard. But you work at a GameStop, so.
First I heard of it. Every system I get that gets brought back that's broken is either HDMI port, a disk drive, or it's seizing itself because it cuts on and off and on and off and on and off, and the person doesn't know what's going on with it. I never heard of this.
Now, originally, well, go ahead.
I would say this is something that can happen, absolutely, because you are standing it up, and it is liquid metal, and it is something that is in a solid form, so it can move back and forth. That's the whole purpose of what it is. That's why it conducts so freaking well and dissipates heat so well. But also, man, I like the fact that they are bringing this to people's attention and saying you might want to lay it down. Mine has been standing up since I got it. I've never laid my PlayStation down, and I have a day one PlayStation.
Well, I don't have a day one, but I got it like 2 months after.
Yeah, so you're pretty much still day one.
Well, I had mine laying down initially because that's the only space I had for it. So I laid it down in the cabinet for months, and then I stood it up when I moved, and I had it up for the last 3 months, but when I saw this, I immediately put it back down.
You just literally put it down sideways.
The reason being is this, and a lot of people out there are like calling me dumb or you know, like I'm falling for something, but I'm not. There are cases out there. This is factual. There are cases of this happening. So why do I want to take that chance? Let's say it's not widespread. Let's say 0.1% of those are affected, those PS5s. That is still like 30,000 units out there. 30,000 units that can be affected by this. If I'm one of those 30,000 units, I'm not going to want to buy a new PlayStation 5. I want to keep mine working in good working order. If I can avoid anything, it sucks. I shouldn't have to deal with it if this could happen, but nothing's telling me that it can't happen. You can't guarantee that this won't happen.
No, you can't. And like the other part of this is if you have a PC and you do the same thing, you put liquid metal in it, your PC is standing straight up and your motherboard is vertical to the thing. And it comes down to just how well those the machines over at Foxconn or whoever's putting these systems together are actually screwing these water blocks and coolers and stuff to the system, because that's where it happens at. So I just think it's good that they're actually bringing it to people's attention. I don't know if I'm gonna lay mine down. I kind of like mine standing up, but I am with you on the fact that you really don't
Well,
want
here's
to
the thing,
kind of
because
risk it.
we know that they're already stating, Sony's already said that there's no more supply issues, that PlayStations are going to be out there now and you can pick one up. But why do I want to pick another one up? I want to keep mine in good working order.
You're out of warranty at this point.
Yeah,
too,
yeah.
So,
So I don't want to spend another $500 on a console, or $550 because it's got a packing game. You know. But anyways, I just
wink, wink.
I would rather just put it on its side and have peace of mind rather than go through that. And a lot of people hate me for saying that, but I don't care. I am worried about my piece of electronic, and you know, I'm not going to just let it die if there's a potential for it to die. I'm surprised more people aren't worried about it, because I mean, it's not this guy's not faking it. He's showing multiple examples of it happening to multiple consoles in his own repair shops, and other repair shops are stating they've seen the same thing. So who am I to tell these guys that they're liars? And
no, you're absolutely right, and that's the thing. I just feel like it's in bad taste for people to come out and say, "Oh, just because you want to turn your PlayStation sideways, you ain't got to announce it to the world, and all of a sudden you're fear mongering." I'm like, no, I want my stuff to work past today.
Yeah, and I want to spread the awareness. I'm not telling people to do what I'm doing, but I'm putting it out there saying, "Hey, guys, this could happen." I mean, just be aware of it.
And then if you happen to be one of those people that's following me on Twitter and you say, "Man, my PlayStation not working no more," I'm gonna be like, "Is it still standing straight up?" I'll just poke at you at that point.
Yeah.
But no, hopefully. But hopefully nobody has this issue.
But we've already seen cases that there is this issue out there.
Well, nobody that we know at this point.
Well, I hope that it's not a widespread issue. Danny, a Passion Official, thank you very much for the super chat. He says, "I agree with this topic. It's good that we know this." Yeah, that's all I'm saying. It's good that we know this. I think everybody that owns a PlayStation 5 should at least know that this may be something that could happen, even if, it's not a design flaw and it's just, some consoles that weren't made right. There's a few out there. Lemons, let's call them lemons. Okay.
If you see a different revision with another revision,
well, that's what I was going to get into. So we've got this PlayStation we've heard of that is being revised without a disk drive. I want to know if I want to see what the teardown looks like on that. And if somebody can point to the APU and maybe the seal being different. I don't know. So I'd like to see that.
I like how they want to go to this PlayStation without a disk drive, but the only one they have out there in a while for the most part is a one with a disk drive.
Yeah. Andre, you're 100% right. He's in the chat. He says, people are not worried because it hasn't happened to nobody they know. That's usually what happens. Like if it would have happened to you and you would have told me, "Hey, this happened to me," oh, then I would be worried like crazy, dude. I'd be like, "Oh my God, it's going to get ruined."
I'd be like,
because we're only 2 years into the life cycle right now. So
we are.
It could be something that happens over time, and maybe some take longer than others to leak, but that could be an issue. Who knows? Just saying, we should know.
No, I agree with that.
Biff Rinaldi says, "Did you miss my member chat?" I must have missed it, Biff. But if you write down what you put down in this chat, I'll definitely reread it for sure.
I think I saw it.
I'm sorry, brother.
Yeah, it's right here. Biff with 1 month, level 3 supporter, hoping for updates from Perfect Dark, Fable, Avowed, and Starfield. Probably won't get any of that though. LOL.
Starfield.
Oh, I love when you did that on What's Today's Show.
Starfield is, I can't wait for that game, man. Yeah. That music. Starfield. Travel to distant planets. Starfield. A game that won't be on the PS5. Starfield. A game that will beat your Breath of the Wild 2, or whatever the hell it's called. Starfield! Starfield! Okay, enough of that. We're not going to do that again, People, yeah, you know what? People have really mocked me for doing that on the show. It's just it's a joke. It's fun, right?
Funny.
But
When I
people
first heard
have
you do
mocked it on
I
Twitter
laughed.
because people are like, "You're 40-something years old and you're acting like this." I'm having fun, man. Like
You're a 40-year-old that loves playing games and having fun with the toys that you're able to afford. Be quiet.
Exactly, man. And you know what? If I was 90 years old and I was doing, I would still want to play like this and be, you know, I don't care. Like, man, some people. I just love to have fun. Anyways, yeah, what were we talking about? Yeah, so this may or may not happen to you guys in your PlayStation 5s. It's not a widespread thing at the moment or anything, and I'm not saying it's going to be, but it's something that I wanted to highlight here. It could be an issue, and if it is, you know, I just want you guys to know about it. I'm laying mine horizontally from now on just because I don't want the issue to happen to me if it should arise, if it should become a problem. That's
You
all.
should take a picture of that and post it on Twitter.
Yeah.
And see what happens. Don't even put no context behind it. Just have a picture of your system sitting on its side, and that's it.
Yeah.
And watch the tweets you get.
Oh man, that's so good. I should do that. Just
I'm telling you should do it just to see. You ain't got to put no caption on it. Just a picture of it on its side and see what people say.
People get mad over the silliest things, right?
They do. They do.
It's crazy. But yeah, you can't have fun and you can't do voices and you can't do, you're 40-something years old. Well, yeah, you know what? And I'm having fun. I'm not gonna just, I'm not dead. All right. That's no, not dead. Not yet.
You're not.
Not yet. And we play games. I mean, the guy probably plays games himself, you know, and he's talking trash.
He probably got a PlayStation. It was like, I'm gonna turn my PlayStation on this side.
That's probably what it is. You know, he doesn't like me talking up Starfield at all because it's not on PlayStation. You know what? I would be doing that for Starfield, even if it wasn't Xbox exclusive. I am a big fan of Bethesda RPGs, period. Their single-player RPGs are my jam. So I have been hyped for Starfield before it became an exclusive. Remember those rumors we heard that it was going to be exclusive to PlayStation 5? Remember that?
Yeah, where they were willing to go out and try to purchase I remember.
You know what? I was still excited for it. I said I'd buy it on PlayStation. Like, it didn't bother me. So it's crazy. Oh, what's
you
up?
Own everything.
I see my good friend Infinite Umbra in the house. What's up? It's good to see you. Ace Out Gaming's here. Neil B is here. TTS Gaming, Low Tier Gamer. A lot of people here. Low Tier says he was hyped for Starfield before Microsoft bought Bethesda, and so were ponies. Exactly. That's all I'm saying. And matter of fact, a lot of Sony guys were out there on Twitter when the rumors were swirling that it was going to be an exclusive to Sony. They were the ones pushing this and hyping this game to no end. We're getting Starfield. We're getting... Yeah. Now they just turn their back to it, you know, like, whatever. Anyways, let me switch topics here because we're done with this whole PlayStation 5 liquid metal. Just be aware, people, that it's happened to some people. So let's go ahead and talk about this. This on your screen right now is alpha footage. This is like pre-alpha. This is really, really early build. So don't take this as, oh, this is PlayStation 5 graphics. But this apparently was leaked, and I read this on Reddit. They were talking about this game here being a new IP for PlayStation. This is being made for PlayStation 5. And what it is really piques my interest. It's a third-person action RPG, open world, sci-fi game. I love all of that. Now, is this trying to compete with Starfield or trying to compete with, say, you know, like a Mass Effect type game? I don't know, but I am all for it. Like I am hyped for this type of game. So have you seen this at all or heard about it?
No, this is the first time I'm seeing it. I'm looking at it like that frame rate looks horrendous, but I'm not going to hold it against it.
And it's just a very small portion.
I know it's
It's
Yeah, I
very
know.
early build. This is a very early build, really old.
Yeah, no, I like it gave me more of a, like you just mentioned, a Mass Effect vibe. That's it, that's my favorite franchise of all time right there. I'm not really feeling that eyeball in the background that look like an eyeball in the sky. But
It
no,
also kind of gives you resistance feels too.
Yeah, you know what?
Resistance.
That is another one too. Then the biggest thing is I like stuff like this because even people were getting on remember people were getting on Grand Theft Auto 6 because they saw the leaked footage and they was like, oh my god, this game looks ugly. I was like, shut up. This is literally alpha footage.
And some of it looked great. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
some of it was awesome.
Yeah, some of it looked really good. And I'm saying there's no textures in any of this stuff. So what you see on the screen right now, if this ends up being an actual game, is probably a quarter of what the game's actually going to look like. It doesn't have any shine put on it or any type of filters or anything. So just seeing the scale is the thing that I'm looking at here. That's the one thing you should be looking at. Like, wow, these games are just getting bigger when it comes to like the scale of them. And hopefully we see more on what this is or just things like it, because even if this isn't a thing, I really just like to see the direction that we're heading in gaming when it comes to stuff like this though.
Yeah. And I definitely like seeing more sci-fi genre out there. I don't think we have enough
absolutely.
of it. So that's another thing for me. And also right now I'm just yearning for a big open world game and I want more of those. So I'm looking forward to anything I hear about new open world games. That's my genre, people. I like open world.
So let me ask you this. Starfield, I know you love Bethesda, but is it more of and you like open world, but the thing that makes you the most interested, is it because of the sci-fi aspect of it and it being open world? Like where
both
does
of those are up
you?
there, but I think for me, it's basically, it comes down to being a single player Bethesda game. RPG. I really like their RPGs, even the ones that a lot of people kind of crap on. Even Fallout 4. I really loved Fallout 4. As bad as I shouldn't say as bad. I should say it wasn't as good in the RPG area anyway as, say, even Fallout 3. But Fallout New Vegas to me was the pinnacle when it came to their games. I love the Elder Scrolls series too, don't get me wrong, but Fallout 2 was just really good in that RPG area. But yeah, I'm looking forward to Starfield. The sci-fi thing for me is just much needed. We need more of it. Since Mass Effect, I really haven't had that sci-fi experience that game gave me. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. What's up, Legendary Drops? I see you in the chat. That's probably Ian, I suppose, and he's probably they do a podcast called Just Gaming Podcast. They just wrapped up. Nice. They did it live today, and I think they're going to continue to do it live because that's the way to do it. It's a lot more fun. Anyways, yeah, so we don't have much info on this game, guys. The developers aren't even known yet, but I did hear an update on this that people are speculating that it could be the folks behind Outriders. People Can Fly.
Oh, People Can Fly.
And if it is, it could be something good. I enjoyed Outriders. As many problems as it had in the beginning, I think Outriders was great. Outriders was fun. So
yeah, I just didn't lose my character, so I was happy about that part.
Yeah, I didn't lose mine either. Rest in peace, Cognito. I know he lost his.
Cognito, man. He was fighting the good fight for them for a while until that happened, and I was like, "Whoo." Yeah,
I can understand, man.
Bless
when you
that,
lose your saves or you lose your character saves, it's over. Man. I hit the wrong button. Danny Passion Official, thank you very much for the $5 super chat. He says, the main reason I like to support this type of show is because I saw so many people trying to put down gamers, calling them loser, etc. I'm also 40 years old. Yeah, I thank you. So this is basically the geriatric show. It's all of us old heads here talking games. And, that's what it's about. No, it isn't the geriatric show. It's about all gamers coming together to discuss this hobby we all love. no matter your age, no matter race, it doesn't matter, gender, whatever. We all love this hobby. That's what it's about. Mark from Legendary Drops, he says, Fonz is a class act. Great dude. Really? You think so? You know what? You're an asshole, Mark. No, I'm just kidding. You're not an asshole, Mark. No. No, Mark's a good guy. I like Mark a lot, man. Mark, he's the other half of Just Gaming Podcast. They do a great show. I love their chemistry. They do an awesome show. I feel like a proud papa of their show, honestly, because let me tell you, Forte, I kind of found them on YouTube, like just randomly. I'm looking through YouTube and I see their podcast and I watch it and I go, these guys are freaking good. Like, why is only like, they're barely getting any views. Like, what is this? And so I had to have them on the show, and I retweet their show and stuff just because I actually like what they do. And I do that for people all the time. Like if I find gamers out there talking about games and I see their YouTube channels and they do good work, I'm like, man, they should be praised for it. That's what we should do in this community. Lift each other up. I get tired of all the fighting and stuff that happens. It's crazy. But anyways, they're good.
Is their channel just Legendary Drops?
Yeah, if you type in Just Gaming Podcast, you'll see all kind of shorts and stuff that they do.
Yep, I see it right here. I'm pinning this right now because
they're good dudes, man. They're good dudes.
Go check some of this out because
now they are more PC Master Race, by the way.
That's fine.
So,
PC's
but they
great
do
too.
They do play the other consoles as well. They own like Xbox, and I don't know. Do they have a place? I think they must have a PlayStation 5 because Ian's always talking about Final Fantasy 16, unless that's going to PC. That's PC as well, right? Final Fantasy 16? Yeah, so that's where he's going to play it. Legendary Drop says, thanks for stopping by the show. You know we always have to tune in for Games Talk. Love the new mic. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate it.
It's a nice new mic.
I love this mic. Now it's a little pricey, but it's worth it. I mainly got it because I need a good voice acting mic, and I audition like crazy trying to get voice acting roles out there. I've only gotten 2, and I want more. I need more. I crave it.
You're going to be the new guy that says world premiere.
Yeah, I wish. Infinite Umbra. Thank you very much, man. He says, glad to see you back on, Fonz. Brother, here's to a great year for you both. I appreciate you, man. Appreciate you a lot. Yeah, no, it's great. But yeah, this may be from People Can Fly, this game here. We don't know. New IP for Sony. It's, again, an RPG, open world, sci-fi game. We'll see what it's like when we see more of it. This is just a leak for pre-alpha footage or whatever. It's really old. Don't think that this is PlayStation 5 graphics, people. This is not PlayStation 5 graphics. This is just what games look like when you're starting to make them. So anyways, yeah, that's about all the show I have today, Forte. I want to thank you for coming on. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. And I want to thank the chat. All of you in the chat have been awesome. I appreciate each and every one of you. I really, really just want everybody to know that Forte does such a great job here on YouTube, has a great channel, has a great podcast himself, the DPS podcast, every Thursday night with Slow-Mo Backslap. Please let them know where they can find you, the show, and all that.
Yeah, man, I really appreciate it. First of all, you always blow me away with just your professionalism and everything you do with this show. Your show is amazing. I never miss it, even if I don't say nothing in the chat. It's because I'm at work. It's always one ear pod in, listening to you talk to whoever I guess you are. I'm just happy to be here with you as a friend and as a person that just does this too for a living. But for myself, Gaming Forte everywhere, YouTube, Twitter, Xbox Live, and PlayStation. DBS Podcast is every Thursday, 9 p.m. With my homeboy Slow-Mo Backslap. We rotate channels every week. It's on his channel next week at Slow-Mo Backslap on YouTube. So check us out over there. And just have fun. It's 2023. A bunch of games is coming out. And just remember, play your games. Don't play Twitter. And just enjoy the spectacle of gaming that we have right now.
Yes, very well said. And like Legendary Drop says in the chat, We got 170 people still here. If you have not hit that like button, please do so. If you enjoy the show, if you don't, I understand. Hit the dislike button if you didn't like it. But yeah, and it's been 2 weeks now that I haven't done the show, so a little rusty, but I'm glad to be back. It's been fun. You guys have been awesome. Forte, you've been amazing. Thank you for coming today and doing the show with me. Hopefully we get more things to talk about, especially this week. We might hear more. We may hear something about the event if it does happen at the end of the month. So hopefully we hear something, and we got something to talk about for next Sunday, because that's what we need as content creators. We need content. So hopefully we get that. Anyways, folks, thank you for joining us. Until next time, game on.